Put a little bit of the rub, nigga, I gotta be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
I was in Baton Rouge and spent a lot of time with staff members and players and whatnot. They had a huge win over Texas A&M, and it was funny. Coach O, Joe Burrow, everybody wanted to say it was, just another game. It's just another game. No, it wasn't. They had revenge on their minds.
That's how you know.
And this was one of the coolest things. So, Joe Burrow goes to the equipment staff, Greg Stringfellow, Louis Bourgeois, all our buddies, and basically tells them, look, I want to show the legions what they mean to me. And this was the best way to do it. Spell it in Cajun terms.
So great. And it is amazing, and I've mentioned this on the show before.
It was a revenge game because last year's game with Texas A&M, it was 72-74. So they wanted to make a statement against them. We not having the same game like last year. We is on a mission to make this playoff and play for a national championship, so we have to get y'all out the way real quick.
But, I went up to Ohio State, which we'll get you there in a second, but I was up there, and Justin Fields is the one that made the comment to me. And Jalen Hurts has said it to me, and Jake Fromm has said it to me, and Joe Burrow's in that group, which is, you can complain all you want about modern college football and transfers. All these guys got to play.
They all got to play, and they're all playing well.
But what a gift it was that we were able to see Tua and Fields and Burrow and see all of these guys play all at the same time, because otherwise half of them are waiting. And the numbers this has been the year of the quarterback, and Joe Burrow is the guy, and I thought that was the coolest thing, him coming out of that tunnel with that jersey.
This is the year of transfer. Hurts with Oklahoma to renew his college career because he got benched for Tua, because they ain't like how he was running the offense in Alabama. So he transferred to Oklahoma, having a good year for Oklahoma. Transfer there, having a good year. Justin Fields has something to prove. He went to his home team in Georgia and tried to compete for a spot to start for them, but they went with Fromm. That was their quarterback all along. So Fields got on the field one time for him, and that was it. And he transferred to Ohio State. Look at him. He putting up the numbers. 36 touchdowns, 1 pick. Take care of business. Got Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Got them on the verge of playing in the playoffs and playing for the rights for a national championship. Joe Burrow went to Ohio State. Got overlooked. It's on the bench. So he transferred to LSU because LSU been looking for a quarterback to be able to help him get back playing for a national championship. And Joe Burrow came through for him. He changed everything for them. The offense looked different with him at the helm. That's what they was looking for. That quarterback to turn this program right back around and have them competing for a national championship. And now he got them in the spot in the playoffs.
It was, again, he approached them and said, and they'll tell you, he never asked for anything.
Right.
And he shows up in the equipment room early last week and says, fellas, I have an idea. I really want to do this for my last game in Death Valley. I want to spell my name for my senior night introduction, Burreux. And, of course, those guys jumped at it.
Yeah.
And so to see the reaction from the crowd, and to see the reaction on social media, and how so many former LSU players on social media just went crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you got dudes like Devin White saying legend.
Yep.
Just legend. And when legends are calling you a legend, especially as a guy who comes from Ohio, who played for several years at Ohio State, who does get in that transfer situation, make his way down to LSU, and then to do this, last year, here's the facts, man. Last year, he was a game manager.
He was.
In 2018, he was a game manager based on the system that he was charged with running.
Right.
And then, of course, as we know, Ensminger and Joe Brady come in this year. They hand him this wide-open spread playbook and say, it's yours. Go do it.
The door started to crack open a little bit
Last year, they just want to see what he has to take to be a quarterback. They probably were the easiest way into the system. And once the system got stuck in his head, they let him be free. And this year it's shown. He's a Heisman candidate. He got LSU on a high level. He got him. He just dominated this year. Like he had just got an opportunity from them, and he took full advantage of it.
In 2018, and as a result of that, I expected to see this kind of steady improvement and this steady escalation of numbers as the season went on. Happened day one.
No, we just
stayed there since the season started.
Nobody expected him to break the SEC passing record this year. Nobody expected him to throw for more than 40 touchdowns and more than 4,000 yards and be a Heisman. I mean, he's everyone's Heisman front runner.
Right.
So when you look at everything that he's doing and the way that he has embraced that culture, I'm going to tell you when I think everything changed for him. And I think it was only a couple weeks ago. He already appreciated the way that Louisiana embraced him because of his toughness. Because
they embraced him because they seen the potential in him. And once he transferred to them, they know this is their opportunity to change everything in this program and get back to be competing for titles, for a national championship, the opportunity to beat Alabama. They did it this year because they had the right quarterback and the right offense to beat the team that's been blocking them. Once they beat them, now they moving forward and playing in the playoffs and the opportunity to get back to playing for a championship. Like, all he wanted was an opportunity. He wanted to do this with Ohio State, but they put him on the bench, and he transferred to LSU and changed everything for this program.
of his drive, because he's a blue-collar guy, and because he embraced them early. But I think that his appreciation for it all went to another stratosphere when that plane landed from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 3 weeks ago. How many weeks ago was that?
3 weeks ago, and all those people were with.
That's what I'm saying.
It was amazing.
When he sees that chain link fence and there are people pressed up against it just wanting a moment,
yeah,
and he gives them that moment and runs and takes that time for them, I really think that was the moment for him where he saw his influence on them.
Well, and they certainly aren't done yet, LSU. And there's a big game on Saturday. There's at least one more big game past that. And no matter what happens in those games, his legend is going to live forever, because this program's been waiting to take this step. We talked about it on the show all year, been waiting to take that next step for so long, and he is.
I mean, LSU been waiting to take the biggest step for so long. Last time they competed for these titles, where they had Jamarcus Russell, where they had Flynn, they were looking for those type quarterbacks to come help them to take this step. Because it's been so long since they took one of these big jumps and beat their rivals and have an opportunity to play for a championship. They've been waiting to take this jump for so long. They just been looking for that right quarterback to change everything. And here comes Joe Burrow, change everything for him.
The guy ultimately to push him over. All right, so this is where he is, but you know where he came from. We keep mentioning Ohio. How insane was that Ohio State quarterback's room in 2015? These are the four dudes sitting in.
That's why he couldn't be able to be a quarterback. You had J.T. Barrett in front of you. Then you had Cardale Jones, who helped Ohio State win a national championship, the first national championship in the college football playoff era. And then you have Braxton Miller, who switched over to wide receiver, but he was their star quarterback. Then you had J.T. Barrett in front of him, so it was going to be hard for him to have opportunity to play for his home state. So he knew he had to get out of that situation and put himself in a situation so he could be the guy.
The room breaking down film, and if you're the quarterback's coach, you're thinking, man, it's a pretty easy job right here.
I can't wait for you guys to see the piece that I have on SEC Nation on Saturday. I went to Columbus on Sunday and sat down with Urban Meyer. I went to Dallas on Monday and sat down with JT Barrett to get their perspective on Joe Burrow as a player and who he was when he arrived from the plains. This quirky dude who, likes the Looney Tunes and likes SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right.
And I can't wait until you guys hear about the T-shirt that JT Barrett told me about. It's amazing, and it says so much about Joe and Joe's authenticity. Joe Burrow knows exactly who he is, and that has an impact on everybody around you. No matter what that might be, if you own that and you are authentically you, people love it.
Yep.
And man, like you've had JT Barrett shows up in Death Valley on the same day as the Ohio State-Penn State game, no less. Cardale Jones shows up in Death Valley. Michael Thomas shows up in Death Valley. And you talk about the dudes this guy played with at Ohio State. It was dude after dude after dude. It was Ezekiel Elliott, Joey Bosa, Michael Thomas, the best wide receiver in the NFL. On and on. Barrett and Miller and Cardale and all these dudes. Raekwon McMillan on defense, Darren Lee. They had guys everywhere. And it was funny talking to JT about the guys that didn't even get on the field because they had so much talent.
Yeah. That team was...
It was so much talent. They didn't know who to choose. But they liked the JT Barrett so much, they rolled with him. So it wasn't an opportunity right there to get on the field for Ohio State. It was so many NFL prospects on that team. And then you had a good quarterback in front of you. So you had to figure out a way to get into a situation so you could be able to be a star quarterback, to be able to showcase what you have. You saw a little sample size in Ohio State, but when he came to LSU, you saw a big sample size of what made him a big top recruit for Ohio State. He showcased what he had. And that's why he had to go to LSU, and he know I could be the guy. I could change a program in an instant if I get the opportunity. And look what he did. He took that big jump with LSU, and he got LSU to a high level.
So you and I were standing on the sideline after that team won the national championship game, and it's just there are teams that get off the bus looking different. And LSU has always looked like that. Alabama has always looked like that. And that Ohio State team that year, they got off the bus, and that was a different group. And now, several years later, like you say, even guys that weren't even getting a sniff at the top of the depth chart back then are now, one of them was probably going to
some of the best players in the NFL right now, the most dynamic, dominant players in the NFL right now were on that team.
Yep.
What's up? Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube.